I guess as usual, when it's really windy the day before, then all of a sudden it's all sunny and so forth. Well, if I knew it was going to be sunny in this kind of clear weather, I should have scheduled time to go to my little hiking trip so I can get my drone shots and so forth. I guess you can't ever predict the weather. Because from the weather reports I read anyways, it said it was supposed to be raining all week and so forth. Although I might be planning something in a weekend depending on what the weather's like. And again, to my knowledge, I should be able to fly the drone there because it is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Although for the hiking trips and drones, I actually still didn't get my repaired battery back yet. It's still in a limbo, like for the DJI. It's kind of interesting to read how some of you have actually experienced some cracks and stuff now, because I actually showed it earlier on, but everyone said like, no, they didn't see anything wrong. So it's kind of interesting to see it's kind of actually popping up more. Have you guys seen any problems with your Mavic Pro batteries yet? For those that are actually flying it still? It's been a few days since I dropped by here. Looks like everything's growing again. Actually read an interesting piece of news here. Maybe a lot of you have read it already, but apparently there's supposed to be a new $10 bill here coming in Canada. I guess it's just to celebrate the 150th birthday of Canada. And apparently there's a website that actually talks about like this and so forth. Nothing like too special about that in general. But apparently there's a hidden Easter egg on the site. For those who don't play video games, there's this famous code called the Konami code, where if you type in this code for pretty much like a bunch of games that the company made, you can get like special bonuses, like say extra lives and so forth. And so I guess the people that programmed this site, if you actually enter that Konami code, which is up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, like normally it's supposed to be start, but I guess there's no start button on the keyboard. But if you do that, then on the site, it'll actually play the Canadian national anthem. You can see here, basically I did it. It actually makes me really curious and wondering whether or not when they made that it was actually approved by like the supervisor or whatever, or if these guys were just like big like, you know, game fans and so forth and decided, hey, why not just throw something in there. Although I guess I just kind of shows too, that's why I like diversity a lot. Like even though you might not be interested in a certain hobby and so forth, you never know how these people with different like skills and so forth could affect you like overall in general, like to make things better. So while trying to stay updated with the Canadian drone laws and stuff, and basically trying to keep track of everyone who's contacted me, see the progress of the insurance and stuff like that, basically it seemed like the issue today of drone registration actually came up in a lot of cases, which is kind of interesting. I actually didn't know before, like in the, because I'm still new to like drones and stuff like that, but apparently like in the aviation industry, you can actually look up who owns like the planes or whatever and see all of their contact information. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? I know a lot of people like say that don't fly drones, they say yeah, well, licensing system is good because it's like a car, right? But I don't know any time for like a driver's license insurance where a regular guy like me can go to like a public website like this and type in your name, like woof, there's like all their information just by like, you know, looking at their license plates or something like that. So that led me to the first interesting news, which was not in Canada, but rather in the US. It said something about there were people actually taking like the FAA into like court to challenge the notion of the fact that all drone pilots have to register. Because like I'll post like the article and stuff here that I saw anyways. And apparently like when they introduced these laws, like that registration, apparently it was really I guess not, maybe it's not as sudden as here, like I don't know, but everyone was saying like, you know, it was so last minute, and then they're saying they had the authority to do that because they're like, you know, the FAA kind of reminds me of like say in Canada where he says, hey, I'm the transport minister, so I have rights to do this. So they're challenging the notion that this isn't like legal, so to speak. So in court, they were in front of a judge and like that, and apparently like according to these articles again, like the judge or the representative for the FAA was saying like his stance was, well, yeah, it's in our right to basically issue these orders or rules because like in our opinion, that type of thing, they think it's for like, you know, for the sake of safety and all that. And then the judge apparently is like, what are you talking about? Are you just making stuff up? Where is this? So that's kind of interesting actually if this is true, because like even here, like when I hear like say a transport minister making laws, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a politician, so I don't really keep track of stuff like that. So if they say they have the power to do that, I assume like that's true. it makes me wonder how, you know, if there's any relations to this happening in the US, whether that's similar for here in Canada, if people kind of overstep their boundaries in terms of what they can, like, quote, legally do in terms of implementing laws and so forth. So it's kind of interesting, I think. I'm kind of curious to see how this one actually turns out in the US. Because for the most part, I think like registration is actually fine for, like, say, I guess more complex drones. Like, I don't mind actually if you register in the system. Although I don't agree, it should be like, you know, putting your name and address and stuff on the actual drone. I think universally, almost everyone agrees that's a little dumb. So bringing that back to Canada, I was reading a point on how apparently the sheer notion of the government forcing, like, you know, people to put their full name and contact details on the actual drone for like everyone to see, for example, is apparently like a violation of the Privacy Act, possibly. That's kind of really interesting in many ways. Although again, it goes back to that point of like, I don't know how like aviation and stuff works, like, cause like I said, if there's a site there that can display like everyone's information and stuff like that, like maybe there's something I'm missing because I'm still new to the, you know, the industry and so forth. But if I was to think of that in any other kind of, you know, category, like say a car or something like that, that is a little bit weird, isn't it? Like if you said, for example, okay, everybody who drives cars has to put their full address right on their windshield and everything like that. So that is a little weird, but yeah, I think that's kind of interesting for anyone else that actually has the expertise to actually research more on that topic. I actually noticed that model aircraft is still up in the tree after all these days. Are those things not worth like a lot of money or something like that? I'm surprised the owner still hasn't tried to take it down. Should I try to get that down? I think it's probably like what? We're about 10 meters in the tree there. I think according to the number I see, it's N9258, I believe, because the branches are flying over and over and over again in front of it. Actually, speaking of privacy, I wonder if I typed in that number in some kind of database or whatever, whether or not I can see that person's full information and stuff afterwards. Makes me think too, maybe the reason the way it is right now, like with the registrations and all that, maybe that's just the way it is because not many regular people like myself actually paid attention too much to aviation stuff. So maybe now that, like, you know, drones and stuff are actually a lot more popular, or quadcopters, whatever you want to call them, model aircrafts, maybe more attention will be brought up to it. That would be really interesting if it is, like, quote, a violation of privacy and so forth. But I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, so it would be interesting to find out. Like, maybe someone else out there has the expertise to look into it and, you know, put the points on whether or not that's true or not, whether or not that kind of violates people's rights and all that. Because I guess in terms of even like awareness and stuff like that, I mean, yesterday's example with that airline passenger thing, that's a great example. I mean, before there was any videos published out, you can even see like the CEO or whatever publishing like material saying, yeah, I stand by you guys, so forth, like we were justified in doing this. But once all the videos came out, now you have to like change your tune because there's so much public pressure and so forth to actually make them change something. And that required, again, like the efforts of everyone, not just necessarily like people who fly like that airline and so forth. There has to be something that connects with everyone, in my opinion. And then basically it tries to fly. So it's better if you just do it manually. Holy smokes, what are you, what are you doing there? So you want to press left in the controller on this right stick, yeah, press left, stop, now hold down on the left stick. Yeah, just keep holding down, hold it all the way, just hold it, it'll stop for a little bit and then it'll land. Simple. Okay, that was really interesting. I bumped into a drone flyer and so forth. And as you can see, I was basically helping him and teaching him how to use the Mavic and so forth. It was his first time. It's kind of interesting. Was I really like that when I started flying the Mavic? He seemed like really nervous and so forth. So I'm teaching him like how to land it and all that. It's kind of interesting. Although he was buying it because for photography reasons, because in my opinion, that's what most people buy stuff like that for. And the funny thing was, people were actually walking by, and there was actually one guy coming by, and he said like, hey, how good is the Mavic and so forth, because he actually wanted to buy a drone. And the funny thing is, I usually ask people, like, you know, right now, like when they ask about drones, like, hey, do you know what the new laws? And he even said like, yeah, so that's kind of like why he's holding off and so forth. And I told him about like things like the petition and stuff, and he actually said, oh yeah, I'm on that list. So it's kind of interesting that actually, like, you know, even regular people who don't own a drone yet actually know about it in many ways. Although it's too bad there that both of them were camera shy. That's a little unfortunate. So I think we need more like regular people anyways, talking about drones and voicing their opinions out there. Because even I said myself, I mean, video is a really powerful medium in my opinion. I don't know, it's one of those things too. Technically, it's illegal, like to fly and stuff like that, but who is it hurting, honestly, in a place like this? I mean, it makes more sense to fly in areas like this. Almost makes me just want to do it in many ways, but yeah, you know, maybe I'm too Canadian, too law-abiding, which in my opinion, again, that's the only thing this law is really stopping, the law-abiding people. Actually, since I didn't fly the drone there, maybe I didn't abide by the law, because wasn't I supposed to phone 911 because I saw a drone there? Oh man. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.